The Siege of Vienna in 1529 marked a crucial moment in the struggle between the expanding Ottoman Empire and the Christian empires of Europe. Led by Sultan Suleiman, the Ottomans aimed to capture Vienna, the capital of Habsburg monarchy, as part of the broader campaign to push further into Central Europe. The siege followed the Ottoman victory over the Kingdom of Hungary at the Battle of the Mohawks in 1526, which left much of Hungary in disarray and opened the door for further Ottoman advances. Before the siege of Vienna in 1529, the power and political dynamics of Europe and the Ottoman Empire were already shifting in significant and unpredictable ways. The early 16th century was a period marked by growing tensions between Christian monarchs and the steadily advancing Ottoman forces. Muslim Ottoman forces. After the defeat of the Hungarian army at the Battle of Mohawks in 1526, the power vacuum in Hungary created a complex struggle for control. Direct quote: Janus Zapola then claimed the Hungarian throne. Archduke Ferdinand I, who was also the king of Bohemia, contested this, and a rebellion broke out in Hungary, with Ferdinand ousting Zapola. Suleiman took offense to this situation, and the rivalry gave Suleiman both a reason and an opportunity to march westward in support of his political ally, using it as a justification for the siege and gain control of Vienna. The Ottomans at this time were at the height of their power, having expanded deep into the Balkans and eager to assert dominance in Europe. Altogether, these tangled political alliances and conflicts laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most significant military confrontations of the early modern period. The Ottomans would then go on a multitude of massacres to neighboring towns and cities around Vienna. When Ferdinand heard of their advancements, they made plans to fortify Vienna before the Ottomans arrived. They removed the women and children and set fires to the houses and fields around the city, on the outskirts of the city, to have a clearer view of the enemy. Ferdinand had about 2,000 cavalrymen, 22,000 infantrymen, while the Ottomans had about roughly 120,000 men in their army. By the time the Ottomans had arrived, they had about 400 ships along the Danube River and the army surrounding the city walls. Suleiman proposed that nothing would happen to them if they surrendered to him. However, he was never given a response. Due to this, on September 27, 1529, he started daily artillery fire to the walls and started to mine tunnels under the city. Made aware of Suleiman's plans by a deserter, the defenders commenced countermining, resulting in a number of underground battles. On October 12th, the Ottomans were able to breach a wall with a mine, but the hole was not big enough to make sufficient advancements into the city. That same night, Suleiman met with his lieutenants to address the situation that they were in. They addressed that their supplies were low and that they would not be able to sustain his army, especially because winter was right around the corner and they were considered a summer army. On October 15th, 1529, Vienna woke up to the relieving news that the Ottomans had fallen back and were headed southward towards Istanbul. When looking at the geography and strategic challenges of Vienna in 1529, it becomes clear that the city's location played a role in both its defense and vulnerability. Vienna is at a crossroads between Western and Eastern Europe, making it a key stronghold for the Habsburg, but also making it a tempting target for the Ottomans. The city was nestled between the Danube River to the north and the rolling hills to the west. On one hand, it provided a few natural defenses. However, on the other, it created alarming complications for military planning. Several small rivers, including the Wine/Weinfluss River, flowed through or near the city, creating muddy and swampy areas that made both defense and movement more difficult. Vienna was also experiencing lots of changes in weather, which affected the climate, leading to heavier rainfall, flooding, and unstable terrain. While it is also more difficult to create defensive structures in the area, those same obstacles affected the Ottomans as well. It especially affected their camels and the people riding their camels. Um, they the camels were not used to the terrain, and some of them a good amount of them would die on the journey to Vienna, and some of the camels fell on top of the men that were riding these camels as well. The Siege of Vienna in 1529 offers a compelling case study in the key principles of warfare. Principles such as preparation, terrain, logistics, morale, and the importance of political objectives. First, Habsburg's rapid and decisive fortification of the city under immense pressure demonstrates that the value of strategic foresight and defensive readiness, especially when outnumbered. Even with limited forces, Vienna's defenders leveraged every possible advantage, including terrain and man-made obstacles, to delay and weaken a much larger enemy force. The geographic and climatic challenges further underscore the importance of understanding and adapting to environmental conditions in war. The Ottomans, although powerful, were ultimately hindered by overextended supply lines, poor weather, and unfamiliar terrain, reminding us that numerical superiority alone does not guarantee success. Additionally, the siege highlights how political motives often drive military actions. Suleiman's campaign was as much about asserting Muslim influence in the region as it is about capturing Vienna itself. Finally, morale and resolve played a crucial role despite immense pressure and long odds. Vienna's refusal to surrender and the unity of its defenders were pivotal in the withstanding of the siege. In conclusion, the battle illustrates that war is not just about force, it's about preparation, adaptation, strategy, and willpower, all of which remain central to military conflicts today.